if I feel like they need some accountability, it doesn't have to always come from me. I'll assign one person to check in with them. And so it's one less thing you really have to do. Now you have a community for life, a possible business partner that you meet in that group, and the amount of money that you technically made from that will come second to the relationships that you build. Well, everyone talks through what they need to accomplish and they go out and do it and they lean on each other. And that requires very little effort on the person that's running the group coaching program. Where should we start? I think we should start with the disadvantages, because again, everyone's going to be disingenuous about how great group coaching is. So I just want to take a minute to actually address some of the real downsides. So the first one, you have to have an extremely strong process. You cannot wing it, mainly because you may have some clients slip through the cracks. I've been there before where you have too many clients in your group coaching and you want to make sure everyone is following through, doing what they say they're going to do, but somebody slips behind, a few weeks goes by and you realize you haven't heard from them, right? You want to make sure you have a really strong process to identify these people. One of the things that I do, for example, is I actually document when's the last time I saw them or heard from them. So if they attended a group coaching session, or if they came to an accountability meeting, or if I just simply texted them, I want to make sure I document that. If I see that it's been more than 7 days since I talked to a client, it's time to jump on that and make sure they don't get left behind. The other part of this too that nobody really talks about is that group coaching, it does take longer to fill programs. You first may launch a program depending on how you do it. And of course, there's tons of ways to launch a group coaching program, but you may launch and only have 1 to 2 people in it. And it leaves you questioning, hey, should I even do this? And the truth is you should. It just takes longer, right? Like people need more testimonials. People need more incentivizing to jump into a group coaching program. And also if you're newer to a platform, for example, it's going to take you longer. Again, it's kind of one of the downsides. You can't just start tomorrow and then fill a 20-person spot group coaching program. That normally won't happen. Hey there, I hope you're enjoying the video. In the description below, I just want to let you know we do have a free coaching community full of people just like you looking to grow their business. It's called the Elevated Coaching Community, full of free training, free tips, all so that you can spend less time chasing leads, begging them to come by for you, and actually spend your time doing what you love doing, which is coaching. Hope you enjoy it. Let's get back to the video. The other thing is it's really difficult to hold people accountable. Again, when you have upwards of 20 people, 30 people or more in a group coaching program, it's a lot of accountability to make sure people get the results that they ask. And yes, people do need accountability, right? Things happen in their life, and as their coach, you should be the one that steps up and says, hey, get your stuff done. But the more people you have in your program, that obviously inevitably gets more and more difficult to hold people accountable. Which then actually brings me to some of the good parts about group coaching. So I mentioned, again, a second ago, one of the bad parts is it's hard to hold people accountable. But here's the great thing about group coaching. All the accountability doesn't have to come from you. So one of the things that we do in our Elevated Coaching Academy is I will assign somebody to hold somebody else accountable. So we have this weekly intentions call every Monday, and people say, hey, this is what I'm going to do this week. And if I feel like they need some accountability, I won't say, hey, everyone, hold this person accountable. I'll assign one person to check in with them. It doesn't have to always come from me, and the team can support one another. And so it's one less thing you really have to do. So that's actually the good part about group coaching is the accountability doesn't always have to come from you. It can come from the people within the actual community itself. The other huge benefit of group coaching is that the relationships will oftentimes last longer than the information that you give them. So like, for example, right, maybe you go through a group coaching program, you learn some great stuff, great, and you're going through the program and you're getting some awesome results, you make more money. That's amazing. But if you develop a super strong relationship with other people in there, now you have a community for life. Now you have a possible partnership, a possible business partner that you meet in that group. You will forever be grateful for that opportunity, and the amount of money that you technically made from that will come second to the relationships that you build. So that's another huge benefit that you can't really get out of one-on-one. One of my favorite benefits of group coaching as well is the fact that all the information doesn't have to come from you. So one of the biggest thing with our group coaching model, the Elevated Coaches Academy, is that I have people from all over the place. Coaches that are mindset coaches, coaches that are doing B2B, coaches that are executive coaches. Like the amount of coaches we have in this program is ridiculous. And so I don't know everything about everything. I don't. And so the nice thing is if somebody has an experience they need help with, and I haven't done it before, I can rely on the other people in the community to coach that person up. I then become the curator of information. As the owner of a group coaching program, you facilitate information to ensure obviously people are going to still get results. But once again, it's just super nice that it doesn't always have to come from you and you don't have that weight. So I'm going to give you a real world example of this. So actually recently we had a client that was struggling with some limiting beliefs, some things that they needed to go through. One of our other clients happened to be a mindset coach. So what happened was those two got connected and ended up walking through some of these things, and it didn't have to come from me. And so that's one of the, again, huge benefits of group coaching. All the information does not have to come from you. You just bring together the best people and then watch the community grow. And now let's start talking about some financial benefits, because there's some huge ones for sure. The first is it's incredibly easy to scale a group coaching business. It's way more difficult to scale one-on-one. You only have so much time. And so maybe let's say you can only handle 10 to maybe 15 one-on-one clients and you still be super spread thin. And yeah, you may make more money per client doing it that way, but what are you giving up? You're giving up a lot of time. And so the nice thing is there's no limit to how big you can grow a coaching business. The only limit is, again, is how many people do you want to hire, if that's something you want to do. But even if you run it yourself, as long as you have a really good squad around you in terms of the people, the type of clients you bring in, there's no limit to how far you can grow and how many clients you can have in there. So there's no limitations on scaling, which is incredibly important. And so when you hear a lot of these coaches talk about, yeah, I built a 6-figure business, there's only a few ways of doing that. The first is obviously if you have one-on-one, charging a lot of money, which is no problem if you want to do that. The other way of doing it though is charging something that's reachable. Maybe you target the immediate to beginner level coach, or depending on the type of client you go after, but you charge a little bit less, but again, you can fill it with more people. That allows you to, again, unlock the endless possibility that is scaling a group coaching business. The final thing I'll say is you can get the same results for your clients with less time. So think of it this way, right? Imagine if you condense the one-on-one section of your group coaching program. You can still have one-on-ones, by the way, in your group coaching program, but what I've done is I've condensed the time sessions. So mine are only 30 minutes. Why? Because I realized when I was doing one-on-one, a lot of those one-on-one coaching calls, they were hour long, but maybe 20 minutes was a lot of fluff and we weren't really doing much and we were just talking about stuff. Instead, I just condensed it to 30 minutes and I actually created a structure for how those sessions should go and gave them homework beforehand. And if they don't fill out, for example, what they did since our last meeting, we don't actually jump in the call. So it saves me a lot of time. The nice thing is that once again, we can get the same result a little bit faster in a group coaching program because again, you have the one-on-ones, which is outstanding, but then you do the group coaching calls. And for us, we just have one weekly accountability session where everyone talks through what they're still working on, what they need to accomplish, and they go out and do it and they lean on each other. And that requires very little effort on the person that's running the group coaching program. And the only thing I have to do is just make sure I check in with the clients, make sure that they're scheduling their one-on-ones with me. And again, they can have more results with less effort on our side. The whole reason why you probably started a coaching business in the first place is because you wanted to have the freedom of entrepreneurship, make an impact, and make a whole bunch of money. And here's the verdict. Is it good? Should you run a group coaching program? Obviously, it just depends on your goals. But if your goal is to make as much money as you can while simultaneously making an abundance of impact, one-on-one is not going to help you do that to the extent that group coaching can. Coaching one-to-many, selling one-to-many, doing anything one-to-many is the better path to go. Just make sure you pay attention to what we said earlier, some of the downsides of group coaching so you can mitigate some of those risks and still have a really awesome program for your clients. So I have another training for you. If you're having a hard time getting past that, I don't know if I can afford it, and you're really struggling with handling objections, we have a video right here for you. Go and click on that. Go pay attention to that training and let me know what your thoughts are on that. As always, if you have any questions on anything we talked about before, make sure you go in the comments below. Let me know what your thoughts are, and I'll see you all in the next video.